Hey, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over all the HCE map skips. So I had a couple of people reach out to me in the comments and also over Discord, and they asked if I could do a skip video. So I'm going to be covering all the skips on all the HCE maps. Before we get into the video, I want to go over a couple updates like I usually do each video. The first one being thank you to everyone who joined the Discord channel. We already have around 20 people in there, which is awesome, and I want to say thanks to everyone who joined. The second thing is I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So once I reach 200 subscribers, which is only 2 more subscribers, which is awesome. Thank you guys for all the love and support. I'm going to be giving away a Morgana Raven. So how I want to do this giveaway is I want you guys to subscribe and like this video, and then in the comments below go ahead and enter your in-game name. And then once I reach 200 subscribers, I'm going to put all the in-game names into a computer program that's going to randomly select a winner, and then in the next video I'll announce who the winner is. And so when you put your name in the comments, I need you to put your Albion online in-game name, and then I'll be reaching out to you through the game's mail system. And I really want this to just be a thank you to all my subscribers for all the love and support they've been giving. Alright, that covers the updates. Let's get straight into the video. Let's go over my key bindings really quick so you guys aren't confused when I say, oh, use your R ability, which is the Assassin Jacket Invis. But so my W and my E are for my spear abilities. The W is the charge up and then you run quicker. My E is the spear dash, so you dash into enemies with it. And then my R is the Assassin Jacket Invisibility. My D is the energy regen from the helmet. And then my F is the invisibility from the Spectre Boots. The first map is Preaching to the Dead, and there's only one skip if you even consider it a skip. So all you have to remember is after you kill these archers, there's going to be this little swamp area. You have to just stay to the left and take out the little skeletons that are in the way of the swamp, because this one can detect you that lurks, and it will aggro the other swordsmen and archers, which that's the whole point of the skip. You're trying to avoid them, so make sure you're careful. And you just walk all the way around to the left and come to where this tree is at. The Stone Wars map has 2 skips, and they're both pretty similar. The first one's a bit shorter, though. But so once you come to this area that has this little like ritual circle looking thing on the ground, all you have to use is your W, then use your D, and then your F to go invis. And you're just going to run all the way past these mobs. You can skip the mini boss and go to the rock formation where you see the 3 rocks. Now make sure you're standing in the middle of the 3 rocks, because no mobs will aggro onto you. This is the first skip. Now, the second skip takes place right after the first skip almost. You just need to kill a couple mobs. But come up onto the staircase and use your W, then use your D, E, and then either your R or F right away. Now, I always like to use my R right away. That's just because what I'm used to. But a lot of times you have to be very careful, because that big mob will pop you instantly if you don't use your R instantly. So a lot of people prefer using their F right away and then using their R at the end. But it's really all just personal preference and what you're used to. The next map is Fishy Business, and there's going to be 1 skip on this map. So after you kill the enemies that guard the chest, you can go ahead and switch to your skip set. Use your W, and then you can use your E if you want, and then your D and F to skip all the way to the bridge. Now, if you stand in the AoE of these barrels, you will instantly get popped, so you don't want to do that, and make sure you're being careful when you use your W, because a lot of times people will use their W and end up dying from the AoE of the barrel. Moving on to the next map, Three Sisters, there's going to be 2 skips on this map. So, once you kill the first big mob, I don't know what they're called, but that's usually what I use as an indicator. They go with a huge, like, mace-looking thing. You come to this bridge, and what you're going to want to do is use your W, and then use your E, and then your R, so your helmet for invis. And then once you get halfway through this bridge, use your D and your F, so your energy regen, and your F for the Spectre Boots for long invisibility. I always like to wait until the middle of the bridge to use the D and F, because like if you use it right away, you're going to start running low on energy when you're going through the whole bridge. Now, the second skip doesn't actually require a skip set. You could put it on if you want to be extra safe, but all you have to do is run along this area of higher elevation, and as you can see, none of the mobs will aggro onto you. You just have to make sure you're staying like on the red curtain, And there's usually bats there, but my DPSs took care of them. But all you have to do is just use your F to get past them, and then use your stun on them. It's really simple. The map Lumber Lunacy is only going to have one skip. And in this footage, I was slightly overloaded, so the skip even works when you're slightly overloaded by a little bit. But don't do what I just did and run too close to that archway, because you won't be able to use your W because of the Cannoneer. But use your E to get past this guy, and then use your R to invis, so your helmet. And you're going to see the archer at the bottom is patrolling. Just wait till they go to one side so you can run in between them and the other groups of mobs. And then at this checkpoint, sit here and wait for you to get your W and your E back. You don't need to wait for your R unless you want to be really safe, but you can make it by just using your W, your D, E, and then F. And then you run all the way to the boss. Now, one thing you need to be wary about on this map is those Cannoneers. They can be a real pain in the butt. A lot of times, other people will un-invis and aggro them, and they'll shoot the cannons, and it'll end up hitting you. So, there's not really much you can do about it, but besides like going first or last, or just waiting until no one's going and taking your turn, make sure you're very careful with those guys. Moving on to the next map, Eternal Battle, there's going to be 2 skips in it. So, the first skip is going to take place very close to the beginning. After you kill the archer and the little skeletons with them, you're going to realize that it's time to skip. And all you have to do for this skip is use your W, and then you can use your E, and then D and F. And where you're going to want to end the skip is at the checkpoint, because no mobs will be able to get you there. And make sure you activate the checkpoint before you actually go into the little hiding area over here, just because if anyone dies, they can go ahead and spawn at that area. The second skip is going to take place next to the chest. Usually there's a swordsman patrolling here. If you kill them or not, you can still do the skip, but you need to use your E on that swordsman. But so what you're going to want to do is use your W, then your E to get past these guys, and then your R to invis so they lose aggro. And then stop right here in front of these 2 like really big swordsmen. And you just need your W, your D, and your F, and you'll be able to make it to the end. So this is doing the skip in 1 shot. As you could see where those people were stopping, you can do it in 2 shots, but then you have to wait for your F to recharge your D and F abilities. So I just like to do it this way because I feel most comfortable doing it. Now keep in mind, you don't have to rush to do the skips unless you're like low on time, but make sure you do which way is best for you. In the map, in the Raven's Claw, there's 1 skip. And you know when to do the skip when you start coming down a very large set of stairs. A lot of people are not careful on a skip when they should be, so make sure you pay special attention to this one. But use your W, and then your D, and then E, and your F ability. A lot of times people will not use their F and think they can get away with just running past and using their R, but that does not work, especially if there's multiple people, and you don't want to be the guy who ends up getting your whole team killed, because that can cause a lot of issues. But as you can see, even after dying, this guy still ends up causing an issue and pulling that 1 mob, so just don't do that. The next map is Fistful of Silver, and there is only 1 skip on this map. So I ended up skipping over to the skip point because I don't do this map. I personally just do not like it, and it's not fun. I don't think you can find anyone who really likes it. So unless I have to, I don't do it. But, so for this skip point, you're going to just need to use your W, your E, and then D and F. And right now is where you'd usually be starting, because if you do the map properly. But once again, I said that we just skipped over and we wanted to do this as quick as possible just to get the skip for the video, because like I said, I hate this map. But you won't need to use your R, and if you do like I do in this video, then you have to just like obviously quickly do it, but make sure you don't aggro any mobs onto your friends. Now, lurking underneath has 3 skips in it, which is a crazy amount, so let's get straight into it. The first skip is going to take place right after you kill the 2 archers and pull the rats, and you need to skip past the scorpion. So I go ahead and use my W, and then I use my D, and then F. And we just run past all of these mobs. Now, you need to grab the rats that are behind you, those 3. Make sure you don't pull them when the wolf is coming by, because that can cause some big problems. And, I mean, it's not that hard to deal with the wolf, but you just don't want to do that. For the next skip, all you have to do is use your D and F. You can use your W as well. Here I just didn't. But you just press D and then F and run past all these mobs. Now, you don't want to use your E here just because there's 2 archers. and they can insta-pop you if you get hit by both arrows and do not invis. For the last skip, you have to be very careful because the archer can auto-pop you. Same with the skeletons, they can kill you instantly. So what you have to do is use your W ability, and then use your D right away, and then use your E into all the mobs, and then R just instantly once you do that, and then F when you're running past the wolves. Now, you can just do it where you do your D and then F first, and E obviously before that, and then use your R at the end, but I just prefer to do the D and F as my final one because it gets me pretty far when I skip, and I don't know, I just am a lot more used to it. This brings us to our last and final map. It's Fungicide, and there's one skip on it. So basically, you have to kill this mushroom lady. You can not kill her and just dodge her AoEs and do the skip, but that makes it a lot harder, so I always recommend killing her if you have time. But so all you have to do is come to this checkpoint right here, and then all you're going to use for this skip is your W, and then your D, and then you can use your E, but use your F right away because there's multiple ranged enemies and they will kill you instantly, so it's usually best to use your F right away. But as long as you're careful, you can use your R, but I just recommend saving the R till the end because, as you can see, that guy had to use his R, and that saved his life right there, as well as that patrol that walks by. If it ends up detecting you, you have your R. If not, you can go to the position behind this little stone and you will be safe. Alright, well that brings us to the end of the video. We covered all HCE skips in Albion Online. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful, seeing my perspective of what it's like to skip, so you could learn yourself or take any tips that I gave. Also, I saw that we reached 200 subscribers, which is awesome. Thank you guys. The giveaway will happen next video, so I'll be announcing the winner of whoever puts their in-game names in the comments of this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Take care, guys.